Hey friends, Damian Mason with a financial tip that you can use to prosper for the rest of your life. And it's based on an article that recently appeared in the Washington Post. Washington Post just had this article out, Married to Debt. Couples are taking out loans to pay for their weddings. If you get bored, you should look up this article because it's fairly outrageous. Somehow the same people that thought it was permissible to get $1.5 trillion worth of student loans assigned to their generation is now deciding it's okay to go in debt to get married. Here's what you need to understand. First off, you should only ever borrow money for assets that go up in value. You should not borrow money for consumption. You see, if you buy a piece of real estate or a new metal lathe for your factory that will make you money, or the asset will go up in value, you should borrow money. But something like a wedding is worth absolutely zero after the wedding is over. So you've just borrowed money for something that has no value. Now, I'm not heartless. I also was married. I love my wife. Guess what? I bought my wedding with cash. I paid for it, and I bought something I could afford, a fairly simple event, because after all, I live below or at my means, and you should too. The three things that married couples fight about are how to rear the children, sex and or affairs, and thirdly, money. If you are going into your new marriage as a newlywed, indebted because you thought it was so important to have the videographer, the photo booth, and the champagne fountain at your wedding that you could not afford, you are setting yourself up for a potentially failed marriage. A rule that I have, and I've written it in my book, Do Business Better. In fact, I recommend you pick this up. It's got a chapter in here called No Money, or You'll Have No Money. And it's very, very simple. You do not have to have an MBA from Harvard to understand finances. Just pick up this book. It's one simple chapter, and I tell you how to get ahead, how to prosper financially. Money habits are generally about discipline. There's no such thing as a money problem. There's just a personal problem that resonates through money when it comes to personal finance issues. So, guess what? Very simple, very simple. If you're starting off getting married and you think you need to borrow money, don't get married. Secondly, just maybe realize that you're not entitled to the fanciest wedding like you see on Disney movies. And thirdly, realize that the more you borrow and start out your wedding, your life together with this debt that you're saddled with, is going to make your life more stressful. I'm Damian Mason. I want you to be prosperous and successful. When you see the headlines that say married to debt, couples are taking out loans for their wedding, do not take that as permission. Take that as a warning that something you should not do. And if you want to prosper long term, you will have good financial habits. And paying for a wedding with $13,000 to $27,000 to $30,000 like these people are racking up is usually a bad decision. In fact, it's not usually a bad decision. It's always a bad decision. Thank you for joining me. Till next time, I'll help you keep doing business better.